Are we just chatting or should we start? I mean,
right,
we
should probably start.
Yeah.
We'll actually start with an
God,
introduction.
you're professional today, Nick, honestly.
I'll be honest with you, I like a bit of fine grub. I love, you know, froths,
Ooh,
and jus.
Ooh,
I love all of that stuff.
Ooh.
Love it. I like to cook, and
Yes.
I'm an enthusiastic cook. You know,
Yeah.
I can reduce something, but I wouldn't know how far to reduce it. Have I reduced it to... There's nothing in the pan, I've reduced it too far.
I don't like the smell and the way it lingers. Is a kipper.
Oh, I love it.
No, I love a kipper. Come on, mate.
Love a kipper.
Grow up. I'm bent over on this bed when I dropped my pyjamas, and he's approaching me with this bloody great needle, and I'm not joking, I just heard him say, "Are you Stephen Merchant?" And I thought, has he recognised me from my arse?
Oh, hello. Welcome to Dish from Waitrose. I'm Nick Grimshaw.
And I'm Angela Hartnett.
I don't know why I paused then, like I forgot the name of where I am who I am. Stephen Merchant is going to be joining us today on the podcast. We love Stephen Merchant, very talented man. He has BAFTAs, he has Emmys, he has Golden Globes. And
The lot.
The whole thing. And today he might have a Waitrose goodie bag, the pinnacle of his career. It's Stephen Merchant, everybody!
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate that.
Hi, Stephen.
This is nice. I didn't realise you had a posse.
Yes.
It's like TFI Friday.
Right? Yeah, Sean Ryder will be joining us momentarily. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm excited about this.
Yes?
Because it's rare that you do a podcast where you sort of get something in return.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You know, whereas
yes.
to get food, I'm just hoping it's Angela that's cooked it and not.
Yeah, it definitely is. I would never.
No, that's not true. You could cook.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I like a bit of fine grub.
Right,
I'm one of those people.
Okay.
There's nothing that I enjoy more than, you know, going out, spending a fortune on a fancy meal. I'm not even saying I love it. I love the theatre of it. I love, you know, froths and jus. I love all of that stuff. Love it.
Was there a moment when you started to love those things, or did you always
Never went
love
to
a froth?
No, when I was young, I mean, I don't think my parents, we never went to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because my dad was, he was quite a frugal man. And I remember once we went to a pub, dinner when we were on holiday. There'd be like one, before you leave the holiday, you'd have a pub dinner down in southwest Devon. And once we had this dinner, it was lovely. And we left and we're in the car, and my dad said to my mum, "Did you pay for that, Elaine?" And she went, "I thought you paid for it, Ron." And I said, "Sorry, neither of you have paid for it." And they went, "No." And I said, "Well, I guess we should go back." And my dad went, "We've left now." And we just drove away. Wow. These poor people. But it's so weird because my father was like quite a good sort of, you know, this is right and wrong. Except about certain things like that. Like one time,
You get a free meal. Why not?
One time we were in a theme park. We went to a theme park and I found a camera underneath a seat.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, Dad, I've just found this camera. We should hand it in." And he went, "Yeah, but you know, have you heard?" He said to me, "Have you heard the rule? Finders keepers, losers weepers." And as a kid, I thought that was like part of the Magna Carta or something. So this became the family camera. It was a family camera for years. It was a filming it, so we got it developed. So the first 10 photos were the other family just smiling for the camera they would never see again. It was unbelievable.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so we never went to fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, when I got into the show business world, I think producers must have taken us out for nice dinners.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm liking this.
I like
it.
Oh, hang on, I've never had a razor clam before.
To get a few more free dinners.
Yes.
And so then when I got a little bit of money in my pocket, I thought, I'm going to try some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I remember the big one for me was the fat duck.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where it was like, what is going on? This is amazing. Because it was the nonsense of it as well, the theatre of it, the putting some headphones on and all. I loved it.
Yeah.
Was it like stuffing they'd set like hay on fire? Would that happen?
Yeah, lots of that, but also make your senses check.
Yes.
Like, they literally would give you parsnip crisps in a cereal bowl.
That's
that
right.
was one, and then
there was seafood where you had some seafood dish, but you put some headphones on and there were sounds of the seaside.
Oh, I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, loved it.
Well, we're having eggs today.
Yeah.
So Angela's
I
gonna
made them into anything else but eggs.
But Angela's gonna
The problem is, see,
perform as a chicken.
I could do eggs myself. That's the problem.
I feel we need to just order a takeout quickly and get
normally we have a more of a humble guest. It's like, I hate foams. And you're like, no, I want a foam.
All that stuff. Love it.
I want a foam.
Get Heston on the phone now.
I used to pride myself on eating everything.
Oh, right.
And I was never fussy, you know, because it does feel now when you get invited. You know, years ago, people said, come for dinner, you go for dinner, and they would just serve whatever they served. Right now, there's like these endless lists back and forth about, well, I don't eat this, and my girlfriend doesn't eat that, and my wife doesn't like. Whereas I'm one of those guests, not only obviously am I great company, but
10 out of 10.
but I would eat anything, but just I'd no longer eat raw oysters. I'm not going to get into the weeds because it was an unpleasant experience in Dubrovnik, which did involve a doctor coming out to the room to administer. It was that bad.
It was that bad.
So that's the only thing, annoyingly, that I don't eat. So I can't.
Quite fun an oyster as well, isn't it? Mish, my boyfriend, does that with mussels. Oh, okay. And every time someone will say, you know, like, oh, fish of the day, got the mussels, he tells the full story of the. I'm like, they don't need to know about the food poison of the mussels. He's like, well, I had a bit of a funny. I'm like, stop talking. Well,
I almost went down that road, and I'm not going to give you the full story, except to say this doctor, this Dubrovnik doctor, had to come out to the hotel I was in, and he looked at me, he said, "You've got terrible stomach cramps. The only thing I can do is I can alleviate this and give you an injection, a muscle relaxant, and I have to give it to you in your arse." So
cheek.
In the arse cheek, sorry.
Okay.
He didn't blow it up there through a pipe, you know.
I just, you know.
And so it's already a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Because it's a stranger that's come in. And so I'm bent over on this bed when I drop my pajamas. I'm a pajama wearer, And he's approaching me with this bloody great needle, and I'm not joking. I just heard him say, "Are you Stephen Merchant?" And I thought, has he recognised me from my arse? Am I like the Croatian Kim Kardashian? Is that what I'm known for over there? And he gave me this injection, and then he asked for a photo.
Oh, no, come on.
Anyway, it was brutal, but oh my goodness. So anyway, oysters I can't go near, sadly.
No.
Yeah. Or Croatian doctors.
We've got none of them for you today. What about if you're cooking? So you like to go out for fine dining. Do you experiment with that style of cooking at home?
No, I like to cook, and I'm an enthusiastic cook, although I do tend to follow a recipe. I get a bit jumpy. I'll go off-piste, but I do like the structure of a recipe. Yeah. So I'll try anything. You could throw anything at me and I'll give it a go. But I just don't have the knowledge that you need to start doing the more advanced stuff. Right. You know, I can reduce something, but I wouldn't know how far to reduce it. Have I reduced it there's nothing in the pan, I've reduced it too far.
It's really reduced. There's certain things that you do see in a recipe, like reduce. Yeah. And you say things which it's only like chefs really know. Cook it out.
Cook it out.
But I was doing
cook it out. What is that? Cook it.
This cookery class once, and someone fessed up and said, in a recipe it says that reduced by half. And he goes, do you know what I did? He threw half of it out.
Wow, that's amazing.
But when you literally reduce, he goes, but that's what it's saying. So, and I said, okay. So you can understand why people, I know, chef fees do get a bit ridiculous.
But I'd love it though. I mean, I love all that stuff. I definitely give it a go, particularly if I had someone like you to guide me. So I think I should do some cooking classes. I think that would help, because I think I'd sort of broaden my...
I like teaching people how to cook, actually.
I like shortcuts. So like I wouldn't probably try and, pin bone a fish or whatever. Sure. That seems like a lot of effort. Yeah. And, and making pasta seems a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than you think.
Is it?
I think when you're shown something, like anything, it makes it easier, and and then you understand. And actually, when I do the cookery class, I take the wizardry out, because people are like, well, I could do that. I said, cooking isn't actually that hard. You can do it.
But I think it's the breadth of knowledge that people like you have, that you know. I think what I wish I had was that, I could pair this with that, or that would, ingredients and knowing things sort of sit well with other things, and that you, that's the...
oh, my God, feeling the pressure now from giving...
Looking forward to me eggs.
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to
get it's just a fried egg. Yeah, it's about knowing how to pair the fried egg with toast.
That's right. Yeah.
She just came to the idea. Hey, speaking of eggs, we are going to have eggs because, by the way, we're recording this in the morning for people listening to this. We've not just thought, just do eggs. Sure. It's breakfast time, essentially. Breakfast time, Christopher Walken has made you an omelette. Not today.
Not today, sadly. It sounds like I'm not even getting an omelette today. But yeah, so I did this show, The Outlaws, season 3, coming soon.
Yeah,
and I'd sent the script to Christopher. I can't remember. I think we might have had to fax it to him.
Oh,
Christopher Walken, he does not rock the phone or the computer, so we had to dust off, an old BBC fax machine. I think the last fax that had been sent was, Mr. Blobby's Rider, and we sent the script to him, and he liked it, but he said, "I'd like a meeting with you." So I flew to New York, and I rented a car, and I drove up to Connecticut, where he lives, and there was this house in the sort of middle of this woodland. And I honestly thought like Hansel or Gretel were going to open the door. Like it was that sort of quaint. I wish I could do the impression and I can't, but he literally welcomed me in, and the first thing he said was, in that sort of staccato way he speaks, "Would you like some omelette?" And I had just eaten a huge hotel breakfast, but I didn't want to be rude.
Can't say no.
So I stuffed some omelette down me, and then... and it was delightfully fluffy. It was a well-made omelette.
Yes.
No pressure, Angela, but...
Christopher Walken's omelette was good.
It was good.
I know. That's quite hard to make an omelette as well,
Yes, exactly. And so I ate about half this omelette, and he just sort of watched me eat it, and he would ask me questions.
Did he have an omelette?
I think he'd already eaten.
Right.
And I think if you'd asked the young teenage Steve when he dreamed one day of being in show business, the idea of sitting in Christopher Walken's house eating omelette while he asked me questions about Bristol, where the show is set.
Yeah, quite surreal.
And I had to say, I was really trying to lure him to Bristol. He said, "What's Bristol like?" I said, "Well, it's hilly, and it's got sort of artsy vibe, and it's on the water, big suspension bridge. It's exactly like San Francisco." And anyway, we were there for so long. I was there about 3 hours, because Chris would ask a question, and I'd give him an answer, and he'd just kind of quietly cogitate, and he would just go quiet, and you'd think, is he okay? It was a bit like having a Zoom conversation in person. Like, you know what I mean? Like you weren't sure if he was thinking or buffering.
Is it buffering? Thank you, Ange.
And in the end, I said, "Could I have some more of that omelette?" And so
Not more.
Finished the whole omelette. Anyway, he subsequently told me that was a deal breaker.
Oh.
For him, it was because I was so enthusiastic about his omelette. It was one of the reasons he chose to do the show.
He was like, fantastic guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Should do this.
Yeah.
Food has arrived.
Yes.
We are having for our breakfast this morning smoked mackerel and spinach baked eggs.
Yeah.
Great.
Proper breakfast.
Well, I do like anything smoked.
Oh.
You do.
I love a smoked thing. Now, Angela, you're you know what you're talking about. What is it about smoked things that is delicious? What is it doing?
I think it's that sort of umami bit of it. You know, it just makes your mouth water, doesn't it? And it gives you that lovely... You want to go into it again. You want to eat a second mouthful. That's what I think
I certainly
about
do
it.
on this. This is terrific.
Oh,
Thank
fantastic.
you. Yes, honestly,
Phew.
Honestly. Very nervous.
Christopher Walken could never.
Yeah.
Walken's made me an omelette. I've been to some places that have got Michelin stars.
Yeah.
I've not been to yours, Angela, because I don't want to eat at 9:15 at night, which is the only time I can get a reservation.
I can give you my number or Laura's
No,
number.
not your number.
Actually,
Not your number.
We were just fessing up.
Get Laura's number.
Get Laura's number.
Angela was just telling us that friends will book via Ange, and they'll be like, "Can we come, probably in 4 months on Saturday?" And she'll go, "Yeah, of course, I'll sort you a table." They're really excited. They turn up tomorrow, forgets to tell.
Oh, no.
Every time. So don't book via Ange.
Yeah, book via Nick, actually.
Yeah,
I'll do
via
it for
me,
you,
I'll sort you
Yeah.
I'll sort you out.
It will happen.
Right, so this is good.
This is very good.
Very tasty. Smoked mackerel.
Yeah.
Spinach baked eggs. How do we do this, Ange? If you're listening to this and you're like, I want Stephen Merchant's breakfast.
So spinach in the bottom of a pan, just baby spinach. Quite a lot because it really wilts down. Then you basically make a mixture of double cream and Dijon mustard. Just mix that together, pour that over the spinach, and then put your smoked mackerel, which is already cooked. You buy it pre-cooked and smoked already. Put that into your pan, and then I make a little well, sort of 3 little holes, because we did 3 eggs, and then I crack my eggs into there, and then bake in the oven for about 12 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And just to keep it really hot, I then put it back on the stove, just to give it that last bit of heat.
Yeah.
And if you want the eggs, I mean, these are okay, they're soft. If you want them a bit more baked, just put it under the grill. Because eggs are tricky. Everyone's got their own way of making eggs. We're all fussy about our eggs.
Do you know what I quite like? I don't like the smell and the way it lingers is a kipper.
Oh, I love a kipper.
No, I love a kipper. Come on, mate.
No, love a kipper.
Grow up.
But a kipper in the house. It stays around for a few days and smell it on my curtains on a Wednesday if we have that on the weekend. Maybe a kipper would be good with this.
Kipper would be great. Haddock would be great with that. You'd need to flake it off. And, smoked salmon, anything smoked like that would be brilliant. Yeah, it'd be great.
Now, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but I think it's pan frying fish.
Yeah.
So my understanding is I just need a hot pan. Any other big tips from me?
Make sure your fish is dry. Like, because sometimes it might just be not slightly moist. So make sure it's dry. Hot pan, lightly seasoned. Not. It doesn't need to be roasting because you don't want to scorch it. And then if it's scored, or even if it's not scored, I take a thin back of a spoon, and if you can put the spoon through it easily, it's cooked.
And am I taking it out of the fridge? Am I bringing it to room temp? Or
yeah, it's always best to do that. It doesn't have to be out for hours. A bit of fish like that.
Of course, doesn't have to be
2 or 3 minutes.
If you want to try this recipe, the smoked mackerel and spinach baked eggs, then you can find the recipe, waitrose.com/dish recipes. All the ingredients are on there, and you can find out how to make this. Good for a little Sunday or Saturday brunch or something. Yeah.
Oh, I'll definitely be making this. This is terrific.
So we are going to actually have a wine, even though we weren't going to have a wine, but only because we want to be good hosts, essentially.
Well, yeah, no, if I was making this for breakfast, I would definitely have
a little rosé.
A little rosé.
Don't they have a little rosé or a little white wine for breakfast in Venice?
Oh, yeah, a little.
They like a little.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people falling in the canals.
They're a mess.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
This is the wine pairing Le Bijou Rosé de Sophie Valrose, which is a dry, refreshing rosé with quite a mineral finish. It says it's elegant, which...
It is elegant, actually. Because that's the other thing which I've enjoyed, alongside my...
that is good.
My penchant for fancy food. Is I've done a few wine tasting courses.
Oh, have you?
Which, as far as I can tell, just seems to involve coming up with words. Right. Random words. So you would just taste something and go, flinty.
Yeah.
That seems to be largely what it involves.
Let's talk about The Outlaws. The Outlaws is back. Series 3 is out this week. You can see it on iPlayer and Amazon Prime 2. It's brilliant telly. This is a show that stemmed from some truth in your life, isn't it?
That's right, yes. My mother's experience with community service.
Yes.
She would like me to point out she was a supervisor,
yes.
not a criminal.
She wasn't doing community service.
No.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up in Bristol, where the show is set, she would supervise criminals who had done, crimes that didn't send them to prison, but instead they had to do their 120 hours of community service, picking up rubbish, painting fences or whatever. And she used to tell me about the sort of people that came through the doors, and they always stuck with me because it was such a random group of people. I mean, she told me once about an old man that she would have, every couple of months he'd show up and he would steal cabbages from people's allotments. And she realised over time that he was doing it because he liked the community service. He liked the social aspect because he was lonely. I mean, he could have joined a bingo club. He was weird, but you know, but there was something about that. And there was even a kid that I went to school with. We'll call him Dave.
Yeah,
Dave.
And Dave was Bristol's laziest criminal, and he used to come through quite a lot. And one time, I said, "Why was David?" She said, "My mum said he'd got caught. He'd broken into a house and he was stealing the TV. And the homeowner came home and went." Dave, what are you doing? And he went, I'm not Dave. and he went, and the homeowner went, yes, you are. You live next door. He hadn't even gone 2 roads over, the lazy bastard. And what was so annoying was...
You suspect.
Yeah. So I was filming Series 3, and I went to Bristol's poshest restaurant. Dave was in there. And I only got a reservation because I'm on the telly. And I'm like, Dave was in there. And on the way out, I said to the maitre d', I went, that bloke over there eating the bloody lobster, you better count the cutlery on the way out, I'll tell you, because that guy... How has Dave got
How did he get in there?
I bet he's in your place. I bet he could get a table at yours. Anyway, so that idea of the randomness of the people that would do community service always stuck with me as an idea for TV, because you're always looking for ways to throw people together, see the sparks fly, people that wouldn't normally meet. And so community service is a backdrop to something I had in my head for years.
Right.
And I always wanted to do a kind of thriller crime story, but with humour. And so I sort of put all those elements together, and that's what the show ended up being. And anyway, now we're Series 3.
Yeah. It's such a great show. If you've not watched it, do check it out, because it's really, really watchable and really, really funny as well. And I love as well, like you saying that stemmed from real life scenario and hearing those stories and being like, what a great place. Like if you go out for dinner and someone says something particularly interesting, will you go home and write that down?
I will sometimes make a sneaky note or something, or a phrase that someone uses. I was in the cinema recently, and I was one of those fancier cinemas. I'm all about the fancy.
Yeah,
we've noticed
that. Come on.
And I was in the little sort of bar area beforehand, and there was an older woman and her friend. And I'm just waiting to go and see the film, and I heard her. So they ordered something, and this waiter came over and gave her something. And I just heard her said, "Oh, he could put his shoes under my bed." I thought, that's going straight down. I'm having that. I'm having it.
That's a great line,
that is so good. So good, that one.
But I think the genius is, as you said, it is that array of characters that you would never put together, and how they sort of inform with each other, and they're brilliant. How did you cast it, though?
Well, I mean, terrific casting director, Amy, who just does, an amazing job. And then, I'll read with the actors, go in and read the script with them and see if the right chemistry is there. And what I like is, there's nothing more thrilling than doing a casting session and new people that you've not seen before, young talent that you've not been familiar with. We've got a few great younger actors in this that wouldn't necessarily be household names, and combining them with people like Walken or other faces. But that's the excitement, really. It's finding the right kind of ensemble of people, and I've been very lucky in everything I've done. In fact, the only frustration I have is that I've worked with Martin Freeman, a former guest of yours, early on in his career, and Florence Pugh. And I wish I could have got a cut of their future earnings. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like somehow I was owed that.
Do they even answer your phone now?
That's the problem. I can't even get them on the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been nice, little
It would. Freeman, you bet you think.
If I could have got some of that Hobbit money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I bet that was nice money.
Yeah, I bet that was good, wasn't it?
Really nice money. I reckon he's still not spent the Hobbit money.
No, definitely.
Well, so Jessica Gunning, who is in our show, and she, again, not a household name when we started The Outlaws, but now she's just done the show Baby Reindeer. It's a phenomenon. And again, I'd be lucky if I can get her on the phone if we do another series. Because that's the thing. These people, they give them their big break and they just forget the little people.
Should write it into their contract.
He invents them and then they're off.
He creates them.
You did a lot on this show. You were the creator, the director, a star of it as well. You're listed as the showrunner as well. Yes. Do you like that? Is it easier because you can oversee everything, or is it actually you're creating a rod for your own back doing all these things?
Traditionally, I've tried to do a bit of everything, and I've enjoyed it. But in this instance, it was too much. I took on too much. Because in the past, I've done things where I was directing it, say, and it was me and maybe one other person in the scene, and that's quite easy. But when you've got 7 or 8 people in the scene, because it's quite a big cast, and I'm stood at the back because I'm the tall one, I got no idea what the actors in the front are doing. And so it's just a roll of the dice. And so I brought in other directors, and I've definitely tried to bring in a big kind of support team, as it were, of other great talent, just to help, because it was too much. It was absurd. It was absurd, really.
Yeah. And how was it shooting in your hometown and doing a show about Bristol? Yeah.
Well, Bristol often is used for filming, but it often plays somewhere else. It doesn't always play itself, and it's such a interesting city. It's got so much kind of texture to it. It has all this street art, obviously, because Banksy may or may not be from there, and lots of other street artists. And it's visually interesting, and it's got its own kind of personality, Bristol, which we try to feed that into the show.
A hotbed for famous people, basically, Bristol.
Damn right.
So many fantastic names. Stephen Merchant, obviously. Cary Grant.
Cary Grant. Yeah. Do you know what? Cary Grant, for the younger listener, the big movie star in the 30s to the 50s, really. But my grandmother, we used to say that she had worked in a boot factory with Cary Grant's father. And she would always say, Cary Grant's father, better looking than his son. Better looking than his son. Like somehow that, I don't know why that was a weird boast.
Blackbeard the Pirate.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
No, again, my gran. I mean, she was an old lady, but she never worked.
You've got Lando Norris, you've got Robin Cousins, you've got Massive Attack, you've got Sir Tony Robinson, Banksy, allegedly. Jade Adams.
Brilliant, Jade.
Dish guest.
Yes.
We were we looked if there was a ranking in the top 5 Bristolians. There isn't one. So we would offer now for you to do your top 5 for top 5 favourite Bristolians. You can include yourself. Who would you put in there?
I would actually put, because Massive Attack, along with Tricky.
Yes, Tricky.
And Portishead, which is a smaller town outside Bristol. So that, in a way, that trip hop scene, almost perhaps it's its own, they're one ranking.
Trip hop.
So I think you've probably got Kerry at the top.
Yeah.
Then I think you've got trip hop, because that was big influence.
Huge.
Worldwide influence. And then probably Blackbeard.
Probably Blackbeard.
You know what I mean? Just because he's put pirates on the map.
Yeah. A tea-stained map.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you got your last few. I mean, you'd have to include Tony Robinson because he's a sir.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I think a knighthood. I'm fishing for a knighthood.
Yeah.
The problem is, I don't do enough for charity.
Right.
There you go.
And if I do make a song and dance about it.
Right.
In an effort to at least get an OBE.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on.
guys.
You've not had an offer of one of them? Wow.
No, yeah, I'm furious.
Well, they must, maybe they just...
Because what do you have to do?
Yeah.
I remember when we won our first Golden Globe.
First.
Thank you.
Just the first.
But it was the first British sitcom ever to win a Golden Globe, right? So, you know,
quite big.
They give our awards for arbitrary things, don't they?
Yeah.
And I remember that year. I think it.
Indeed.
I remember seeing if it was the same year or some other point, but I remember the English cricket team. We won the Ashes, and they had an open top bus around London, and I thought, well, if you're looking for winners, you know, or they get invited to the Houses of Parliament or whatever, or 10 Downing Street, they get nothing.
I think they even went to the Palace. I think they did.
Hey, what you've got? What's the better one? MBE.
OBE.
OBE is the better one. So Andrew's MBE. She's levelled up to OBE now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, what have you got that for?
Probably.
Is it most times on Saturday Kitchen?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and Sunday brunch. You combine both.
They combine them too. It's a Golden Globe, but have you been on Sunday brunch?
But honestly, do you do a lot of charity work?
I do a fair bit, but I think it's the stuff I've done for the industry as well. I do a lot for the industry.
What, you don't think I've contributed to my industry?
Well, no, I'm not saying.
The kind of money that I'm bringing in. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Angela. Angela, the tax I'm paying alone. I should be a baron at this point.
You should have
all that money from the American office, I got to pay the tax over here. Goodness me, what you've done for the industry. But I've employed, there's probably 200 people on the Outlaws crew. What have you got, like 14, YTS kids in your restaurant peeling spuds? And they're like, oh, let's give her a bloody award.
Oh my God. Maybe you can have a word with your mates.
Yeah.
I do think you should have one. I feel like a lot worse people have got one. Not Ange, but on telly.
Because I do a lot for my industry.
She does a lot for her industry.
So I've heard.
Yeah. I do think you should have one.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm really fishing for.
Yes.
I want people, whenever they write about me, just to prefix it with National Treasure.
National Treasure.
Wouldn't National Treasure be lovely? Are you a National Treasure yet, actually?
No.
You'll get there. You will get there. But
I
Nick, you haven't got a chance.
No way. No way. We can actually start that, and maybe in the podcast notes for this.
Yeah.
We can be like, this week, National Treasure.
Yeah, we'll change the start. We'll change
we could. I'll redo the
We'll
intro.
Two dreams I have: National Treasure, and that when they do the BAFTAs after I died, I hope I'm in the in memoriam.
Oh.
And I hope I'm not just a photo. I hope they play a little clip.
Yes,
a little clip. What clip would you like? As like
I'd like it.
Or would you like a montage?
Montage, yeah.
I mean, that would be the dream. But
I think it'd like its own show.
That's right. I would like a whole
a whole bunch that's dedicated
those
to
tribute
you.
shows.
Yes.
They've had that in the work. They've had that in the works because they knew you were at death's door.
Yeah.
Right?
They've been making
someone's cobbled that together at the BBC. And a couple of talking heads.
There you go.
Oh, that's right. I hadn't even thought about that.
We'll do that.
Yeah. Right.
We should talk to you about podcasting as well, because
of course.
you
The original.
A few tips.
Yeah, you invented the genre. Much like Angela invented food, you invented podcasts.
Simple tip for you: be prepared.
Yes.
No, you are. You're wonderfully. No, you're terrific podcasters, guys. Yeah, honestly. No, I do. I mean that sincerely.
He came in and said, "Should we start this then?"
Should we start? Do you want to actually do this then?
This?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
I'm on a schedule, you two.
When did it start? When did you start doing the Ricky Gervais show? Was it like
me. I mean,
it was early. It was when we were like, what's a podcast?
It was very early on.
Yeah.
And we got into the Guinness Book of World Records. We got into the Guinness World Records for most downloaded podcast because I think there was only 3. And so, we were quite sort of pioneering.
Yeah.
And the problem was we stopped doing it just before people realised you could really monetize it.
Right.
Okay.
So, like you guys, you must be making a fortune. You've got Waitrose behind you. You've got a posse of about 26 people. I don't imagine they're cheap.
No, it's very expensive.
So we never managed to kind of turn it into the
cash.
Super
to the
business
cash
that it
cow.
is. Yeah. But, given what I've done for the podcast industry, you really feel that I should get an OBE.
You
Knighthood, I think. Knighthood.
Invented it. Would you go back and do a podcast again, or are you like, no, it's quite a saturated market, really, isn't it?
It is a saturated market, isn't it?
Also, 20 years ago you invented the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been 23 years as well since The Office first aired.
Yeah.
And what's mad about that is that it's still brilliant and it's still on and it's still like people's favourite shows. When you say like, what do you love? And they're like, love The Office. You're like, it's 23 years ago.
Well, it's genius. It was genius
Thank you
TV.
very much.
Yeah.
Very proud of it. I mean, obviously, you can't possibly imagine that it would run. You hope it'll run for 20 years.
Yeah.
23. It's just wild.
23 is crazy.
That just seems mad. No, but of course, it's just you can't imagine when you're making this little show. I mean, I remember us thinking that no one's going to watch this.
Yeah.
We just thought there'd be a die-hard fan base.
Yeah.
Yes.
Particularly when they did some test screenings at the BBC, and we were the lowest score ever. The only thing that got a lower score than us was women's lawn bowls, which I didn't even know was televised.
No.
But and I don't know why particularly women's lawn bowls, but that was the one that scored lower. But that shows you what those test screenings mean because here we are.
Yeah, jack is what they mean.
That's what they mean.
Yeah.
So they stuck it on in the summer when no one watched it, and it was sort of.
It was BBC Two as well, wasn't
BBC
it?
Two, no one really watched it. Well, it got repeated,
Yes.
and then we won a couple of trinkets,
Yes.
and then we were off to the races,
Yes.
yeah, and then we went, and now look at me now,
Now look.
drinking wine at 11 a.m.
A bit of smoked haddock. We come to the end of show question for you. A beautiful gold envelope here. Terrible writing.
Awful writing.
And Stephen, for your chance to win the Waitrose goodie bag.
Oh, there's a Waitrose goodie bag.
There is, All you've got to do is answer your end of show question to win this goodie bag.
All right, a little bit of food history for you. It says to win the Waitrose goodie bag. In 2017, at the Malvern Autumn Show, Joe Atherton was handed a Guinness World Record for the longest ever parsnip. So a simple question. If you were to lie down, would you be bigger or smaller than the parsnip? As someone who's been in the Guinness World Records,
Yes.
I can't believe there's a parsnip bigger than 6'7" surely.
Wow.
That's a parsnip over 2 meters long. It can't be possible. Surely I would be bigger than that parsnip.
Well, I can tell you that is incorrect.
What?
It was a really long parsnip.
Yes.
6.55 meters long.
Oh, shut up!
Take over your mates at Guinness.
What is he been given?
3 Stevens long.
Yes.
Is what they
I
measured
want
it
this
officially.
checked. I need some kind of
3
adjudication.
We've got
Stevens
proof, we
long.
have proof.
But to be fair, I will say, here's a picture of the man
Yeah.
with the parsnips. It's a lot of.
Oh, it's a lot of tail.
It's a lot of tail.
That's not a parsnip. No. I won't have that. No, let me tell you why. Because Angela, if you were cooking with that
You
parsnip,
can only cook
yeah.
with that bit
which
of it.
looks like the alien,
Yeah.
Right, yes. It's
you know,
just
when the alien
like
comes
a-
out of the chest with
Yeah.
its long tail.
Yeah.
That's really just the root.
Of course it is. You can't cook with
No,
that
I was
bit,
thinking of
yeah.
a parsnip like you'd see in Waitrose.
Yes.
So I dispute that.
Yeah, you dispute that.
Yeah.
But you know what, Stephen? I don't
think
want to.
I'm taking the goodie bag.
I mean,
We'll
I
give
have
it
to
you.
agree with you if I'm honest, because if you were ordering parsnips for a
Yeah.
recipe,
Yeah.
and someone went, how many do you need? And you were like 17, and someone went, I'll just get you one long one. It's
Yes, that's
the
right.
same length as 3 Stephen Merchants. You'd be like, well, that sounds good. Just get one.
I'm
And when
sorry,
it
but I
came
just
and
feel
looked like
that's
that-
not. Yeah, I feel like I was manipulated there.
Yeah. So we should.
My point is, can I
remove-
take the goodie bag?
No, Stephen, the goodie bag is yours, of course.
Thank
Come
you.
on. Come on. It's just one long parsnip in the bag. That's all there is. Make sure you watch The Outlaws on BBC iPlayer and on Amazon Prime as well. It is brilliant. A round of applause for our guest, national treasure, Stephen Merchant.
Thank you for the food. Thank you so much.
Such a national treasure. National treasure.
Over you.